Healthy diet is very important for health and well-being. When we talk about health, we mostly talk about diet and exercise. Exercise is important and it will plays a very important role in health and well-being. But another important factor for health and well-being is a healthy diet. So we all know about the importance of healthy diet. So why there is a need to talk about it? So there are lots of misconception related to healthy diet, and because of that it is very difficult nowadays for people to follow a good diet. So healthy diet is not just for reducing weight. Some people think like when you are reducing weight at that times you take a good controlled diet, but that is not a holistic view. Similarly, some people think like a diet is for gaining muscle. When you are doing bodybuilding, you have to take high protein diet, but those are very limited view. Let's talk about why the healthy diet is important. What is the real reason to take healthy diet? Healthy diet helps to reduce the occurrence of some diseases, some lifestyle diseases such as heart disease, diabetes. Similarly, some problems like high blood pressure, elevated cholesterol level, those can be also controlled through good diet. And healthy diet also boosts the energy levels. So in whichever sphere you are working, you need good energy level to perform well. And also a healthy diet boosts immunity that provide you power to fight against illnesses. And especially at the time of this pandemic, you don't want to play with diet. So healthy diet is very much important for overall good quality of life. So we can say that healthy to thrive, not just to survive. Now let's understand what are the problems that make it difficult maintaining a healthy diet. So most of the people have a busy schedule. So there is always a struggle between the personal and professional commitment. So because of that, there is a erratic eating patterns because of all these commitments and busy schedule. For example, skipping meals, eating out most of the days, or lack of physical activity, or disturbed sleeping pattern. So all these factors invariably add up and cause stress. Also, if you look into statistics, right now our country is going through epidemiological transition when it comes to non-communicable diseases. For example, this lifestyle related diseases such as heart disease, diabetes or cancer. Now if you see the statistics, 61% of the death are due to these diseases according to the data released by WHO, and 23% of the population is at risk of premature death due to such condition. So via the statistics we see that there is a need to focus on health and also to create an atmosphere that leads to living a healthy life. So when we talk about health, let's understand the definition of health as released by WHO. Health is a state of complete physical and mental and social well-being, and not merely absence of disease or infirmity. So healthy eating is also one of the important part for healthy living. So when we talk about diet, that doesn't mean that just taking calories, but also the nutrients, all sorts of nutrients that are essential for the body, those matters more. For example, if you take 100 kilocalories from a packet of chips versus 100 kilocalories from a fruit, which one is better? I'm sure you have guessed it right. Taking a fruit is much more beneficial when compared to taking just empty calories. Also, it is very important to understand the human body is highly complex biochemical system, and it has elaborate processes that helps to regulate energy level, and different food that we eat goes through different pathways, and different food and micronutrients in them have effect on the hormones in the body and also the brain centers that control hunger and eating behaviors. So the food does a lot than what you think it does. Food has huge effect on our biological system, and this is the reason that junk food is so addictive. Even though we know it is unhealthy, then also because of this biochemical process, it becomes very addictive. So food we eat can have two kinds of effect. Either it can nourishes us or strengthen the body, or it can have a harmful effect in the long run if we constantly eating the unhealthy food. Good news is that by making wise choices, we can eat healthy food that are good for us. Now let's talk about macronutrient first. So first macronutrient that we are going to talk about is complex carbohydrate. So eating more of a whole grain is an easy way to make your diet healthier, as the whole grains are packed with nutrients which includes protein, fiber, B vitamins, antioxidants and couple of trace elements such as iron, zinc, copper, magnesium to name a few. When we talk about the whole grains, it means that like whole wheat atta, or whole wheat bread, or rice, jowar, oat, muesli, ragi. So all these are the source which we can choose from, and diet rich in whole grains has been shown to reduce the risk of heart diseases, type 2 diabetes, obesity, and also some form of cancer. So when these complex carbohydrates are combined with dals or any other vegetarian protein source, then they give complete proteins, which is especially important for a vegetarian diet, because the people who are not taking non-veg, for them this good combination of vegetarian food is very important to get the all proteins as well as other important nutrients. And one more important thing, like basically carbohydrate have a very bad reputation when we talk about like pre-processed food or the food that have a lot of sugar in it. But when we talk about this complex carbohydrate food such as whole grains, so they contains like a lot of fiber and other nutrients also, and they have low glycemic index, and this low glycemic index food are slowly digested and absorbed, causing a slower and smaller rise in blood sugar level. So it is basically good for digestive health and also for weight management. Now talking about second macronutrient, which is protein. So protein is very important component of every cell in the body. So our like bones, skin, hair, nails, all these elements in body are made up of protein, and protein is also required by enzymes and hormones to operate in various biological processes. Along with the fat and carbohydrate, protein is also known as macronutrients because the body needs in a relatively large amount. When we talk about vitamins and minerals, on other hand, they are also essential and required by body, but they are required in smaller amounts, so they are known as micronutrients. Unlike fat and carbohydrate, body doesn't store the protein, and therefore the body doesn't have the protein reservoir to draw out when it needs. So basically it is very important to make sure that the diet contains all these healthy food which are good in protein. So when we talk about the vegetarian sources, dals, rajma, chole, whole pulses, sprouts, soy and its products, all these are good sources of protein. And when we talk about non-vegetarian diet, egg, fish and lean cut of chicken have good amount of protein. And lastly, when we talk about dairy, it includes like milk products such as milk, yogurt, curd, buttermilk and cheese. So all these are good sources of protein. And also it is important to note, it is good to avoid processed form of protein such as protein bars, protein shakes. So try to go for natural and unprocessed sources of protein as much as possible. Now let's take a shift from macronutrients and have a look on fruits and vegetables. So why these fruits and vegetables are very important food group? One reason is because they contains high fiber and nutrients, and fiber is so much important in our body because it lowers the rate at which sugar is absorbed into the bloodstream. So when you eat foods high in fiber, the sugar in these foods is absorbed slower, which keeps your blood glucose level from rising too fast. So this is good for you because like sudden spikes in glucose also means that they will fall rapidly. Say you have a Tetra Pak juices which have very high sugar content in it and very less fiber, so the blood sugar rises and goes down suddenly, and which causes to feel hungry and have more food. So basically it leads to more sugar consumption and overeating. That's why having a whole fruit is much better than having a fruit juices, because the fruits contain fiber in it. Also like fruits and vegetables are much better than any kind of packaged or processed snack. So try to include fruits as a healthy snack during your day meal pattern. And it is important to note that try to have variety of fruits with different color, because different colors indicate like different nutritional profile. When we eat the same kind of food, we get bored. We will not enjoy it if we get bored. So having different sorts of fruits will help to enjoy our food and also get the more nutrients. Now let's talk about fats and oil. Now fats are not your enemy. Basically healthy fat are very essential source of fuel in the body, but it also a form in which the body store its energy. Fat is important because like you can say like there are certain vitamins such as vitamin A, D, E and K. They require fat for their absorption and efficient utilization. Even certain antioxidants such as biopenes and beta carotene, all these requires fat to effectively use in our body. In addition, fat also give our cells their particular structure. So fat are also very important, but we have to choose wisely. Too much of saturated and trans fat is known to cause heart related issues. So be careful and avoid the unhealthy fats. Unhealthy fats when you talk about such as like mayonnaise and refined foods or heavy creams, all these contains unhealthy fat such as saturated and trans fat. Now there are certain like good fats are also there such as omega-3 fatty acid. It is a kind of unsaturated fat which is very important for optimal nerve and brain and heart function. And omega-3 fatty acid is contained in fish, nuts and seeds such as flax seeds, almonds, chia seeds and walnuts, and plant oil such as like flaxseed oil, soya bean oil and canola oil. All these contains good amount of omega-3 fatty acid, and avocado, soya bean and rajma also contains omega-3 fatty acid. One important point to note, these essential fats are important for the body. So when we talk about oils, try to change your oils at a regular interval of time, because different oils contain different essential fats. So when you change them at regular interval, you will get the benefit of all essential fats in your diet. Another aspect of the healthy diet is hydration. So why fluid intake is important for the body? Because this fluid cushions and lubricate the joints, nourishes and protect the brain and spinal cord and also other tissues, and it helps to keep the body temperature normal. So our body contains like 60% of the water, our brain contains 70% of the water, and lungs contain 90% of the water. So body require at least 8 glasses of water a day. So carry a small bottle of water everywhere, because it also acts as a visual reminder. Keep it in front of you. Also, like if you know about like what is dehydration reduces the amount of blood in the body, forcing your heart to pump harder, and it causes dizziness, irritability and headache. So drinking the fluid is very much important. So take fluids in different forms, in form of salads and fruits, green tea, buttermilk, coconut water, fresh fruit juices without sugar, lemon water and homemade soups. So by all these means you can keep your body hydrated. So finally, there are some tips that will help in following a healthy diet. So tip number 1, prefer brown rice over white rice. So researchers have shown that brown rice is having low glycemic index. Also it is rich in fiber content and some other form of nutrients. So brown rice along with millet rice and dalia, which are fiber rich cereals, could be included in your diet. Tip number 2, try to have dal in your diet, as it is having a good content of protein and it could be easily prepared. Tip number 3, try to avoid cold drinks, sweet lime juices or fruit juices, Coca-Cola or any other form of like energy drinks. Instead, try to eat the fruits directly, as it is having a good fiber content as well. Tip number 4, please do not shop on an empty stomach, because when that happens, you tend to make a lot of impulse purchases, which is not really good for you. Example, junk food and so on. Tip number 5, chew your food slowly. Try not to rush through your meals, and meals should be eaten in a peaceful, calm environment, because when you eat food in a bad environment, you tend to eat fast and also overeat, and overeating can lead to certain digestive issues. Tip number 6, don't skip meals, because when you skip meals, then metabolism goes down and it actually makes difficult to weight loss. And also, like when you eat irregularly, then when you eat, your cell will crave more and it will cause overeating. Tip number 7, eat at regular timings, because studies have shown that people who eat at random time suffer from high blood pressure, higher BMI. For example, late night snacking is not good for your health. These studies have found that our appetite, digestion and metabolization of fat and cholesterol all appear to be linked to circadian rhythm, and this follows a pattern that repeats after every 24 hours. Tip number 8, let us make a commitment and cut back on the following things, as we already know that excess of these things is definitely not good for us. So these are refined sugar and excessive use of fats, reduce salt intake, cut back on refined and processed foods, cut down deep fried snacks, take less junk food at home as well as at outside, be less sedentary, walk around home, do basic exercise every here and there, quit smoking and alcohol, because they don't allow nutrients to get absorbed by the body and they affect lungs as well as the endurance and stamina and overall fitness. So always remember, healthy body plus healthy mind is equal to happy life. Tip number 9, avoid unhealthy snacking, because this is the area where we often go off balance due to ignorance. So there are some good options available for healthy snacking. For example, roasted and unsalted chana, a handful of nuts and dry fruits, roasted murmura, khakra with less oil, or puffed cereal or popcorn, or roasted makhana, or dry oats mixture, or dry muesli, or wheat flakes, plain and not sugar coated, and rice flakes, chivda with less oil. And also you can have fruits as a form of healthy snack. Or you can make some homemade dessert. For example, a cup of homemade yogurt with chunks of fruits, or a yogurt with sprinkle some seeds in it, which are very good in omega-3 fatty acid as well as in protein and other micronutrients. Or have good amount of salad such as carrot, cucumber, rich in fiber. So be smart when you are snacking. Tip number 10: if you had COVID and you are on the way of post COVID recovery, so the diet should include good amount of proteins. And apart from proteins, keep good amount of fluid intake in form of buttermilk or lemon water, and keep yourself hydrated. Have small but frequent meals rather than one big meal, and reduce stress and take good rest, and keep monitoring your symptoms for quick and effective recovery. So that's all from this video. Thank you for listening, and all the best.